U 7. izdanju emisije Diplomata, koju Euronews Srbija realizuje u saradnji sa magazinom Diplomacy and Commerce, gledaćete intervju sa Lukom Gorijem, ambasadorom Italije u Srbiji. Nakon toga videćemo kako je bilo na turi koju su za strane diplomate organizovali Nacionalni park Fruška Gora i naš magazin. Takođe, prenosimo vam i atmosferu sa Nacionalnog dana Argentine, kao i izložbe i koktela kojima se od Srbije oprostio Stanislas Pjere, dugogodišnji direktor Francuskog instituta u Beogradu. Dan srpske diplomatije obeležen je u ponedeljak 2. juna u Ministarstvu spoljnih poslova u prisustvu predstavnika diplomatskog kora, zaposlenih u ministarstvu i brojnih gostiju. Ministar spoljnih poslova Marko Đurić, obraćajući se okupljenima, istakao je da 10. put obeležavamo Dan srpske diplomatije. Dan kada sa ponosom i dostojanstvom podsjećamo na korene, ali i na kontinuitet naše diplomatske službe. To je i prilika, ukazuje, za sumiranje rezultata, sagledavanje izazova i trasiranje puteva za budućnost. Osvrnuvši se na istorijsku podlogu njegovog obeležavanja, Đurić je naglasio da je, pre svega, podsjetnik na duboko ukorenjeni nacionalni napor da se u međunarodnim odnosima u vremenima burnih istorijskih promena očuva glas razuma, umerenosti i mudrosti. Danas, u savremenim uslovima, naša diplomatija se i dalje oslanja na te duboke temelje, prilagođavajući se savremenim tokovima, izazovima i potrebama moderne, nezavisne, vojno neutralne i otvorene države, naglasio je ministar. U okviru obeležavanja Dana srpske diplomatije gostima je predstavljena izložba Pismo prijateljstva, filatelija i diplomatija, a direktor javnog preduzeća Pošta Srbije, Zoran Anđelković, u svom obraćanju naglasio da je filatelija jedna od najstarijih i najlepših disciplina koja slavi kulturu, tradiciju, ali i veze koje su pažljivo građene. Ovogodišnji Dan srpske diplomatije slavi 186 godina od uspostavljanja prve knjaževske kancelarije inostranih dela i 836 godina od prve diplomatske misije, čiji su protagonisti bili veliki župan Stefan Nemanja i Fridrih I Barbarosa. Kako saznajemo, novi američki ambasador u Srbiji Mark Brnović stiže u Beograd tek u avgustu mesecu, tako da će ovo biti prva proslava Dana nezavisnosti SAD u Beogradu bez prisustva američkog ambasadora. Domaćin na proslavi koja će se održati 1. jula biće Aleksandar Titolo, zamenik ambasadora, koji je trenutno u funkciji prvog čoveka diplomatske misije. U avgustu se očekuje i dolazak nove ambasadorke Poljske. Ministar spoljnih poslova Republike Srbije Marko Đurić razgovarao je u ponedeljak 2. juna sa specijalnim izaslanikom ministra za Evropu i inostrane poslove Republike Francuske za Zapadni Balkan Reneom Trokazom o aktuelnoj situaciji u Srbiji i regionu, kao i procesu evropskih integracija naše zemlje. Ministar Đurić izrazio je zahvalnost Francuskoj i predsjedniku Emanuelu Macronu na doslednoj i principijelnoj podršci koju pružaju Srbiji u njenim naporima na putu ka punopravnom članstvu u Evropskoj uniji. Istakao je da je saradnja sa Francuskom od strateškog značaja za Srbiju i da je zajednička vizija evropske budućnosti regiona temelj stabilnosti i razvoja.
Dear viewers, welcome to another episode of The Diplomat. My name is Mijat Kontić, and today speaking with us is His Excellency Luka Gori, the ambassador of Italy to Serbia. Your Excellency, thank you for deciding to join us today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
It's a pleasure to have you with us.
My pleasure.
I would like to start this conversation with your diplomatic career. You've served in key postings all the way from Moscow to Washington and Brussels. How have all of these experiences shaped your approach and perspective in diplomacy?
Well, very much, in the sense that I had the chance to serve in different countries with key political situations for Italy, but also for the relationship with Europe. In particular, in Moscow, I spent my first years as a diplomat, and I remember very well the culture, the Russian culture, and the importance being in Moscow to understand Europe from that perspective, from the perspective of a country which is European, but also a country with a very important Asiatic component. And then in Brussels, the experience was very much focused, of course, on the European Union, because I was working for the Italian delegation to the EU. So the most important experience was related to understand how the EU works or doesn't work. But for all of us, European diplomats, to have a EU experience is really critical. And then in Washington, I think it's a great experience because in Washington you see how the international agenda is shaped, how the main priorities, not only for the US, but for the globe, are somehow defined. So also professionally, it is really a great experience. And all in all, from Moscow to Brussels to Washington, when you are a diplomat, you travel, you live abroad, you understand very well the importance to accept a different point of view, to establish a dialogue with those who have a different culture, who have a different interest to defend. And this is, I think, the most important lesson that I have learned. The importance to respect the culture, the interest, and the ideas of the others.
Now, I would also like to ask you, how do these experiences compare to your time in Serbia? Are there any similarities that you found or vague differences between them?
Well, every country, every capital where you work is different. Here in Serbia, I like very much the way people are, I would say, relating themselves to Italy. The first thing I see when I introduce myself generally to a Serbian guest or friend is a smile, which means that Italy is very much and very well accepted in this country. So, I mean, the experience here in Serbia has been great in many respects.
Now, there is some shared history between Italy and Serbia that maybe not all of our viewers know, but during the 1879, the Italian legation was opened in Belgrade, and this was a key milestone in Serbian and Italian relations, and this was also shaped by Italy's foreign policy shifts and the legacy of the Risorgimento. How do you see this historical moment influencing cultural but also diplomatic ties?
Well, yes, it was a very important moment for Italy, for the Italian foreign policy, because we established a legation here just the year after the conference of Berlin. So, I mean, it underlined the importance that we attached to our policy towards the Balkan region. And actually, the opening of the legation here in Belgrade was really a shift in the importance of this region for Italian foreign policy. So it is a very important moment also for our bilateral relationship. And of course, it comes from that moment all the rest, which means also the construction of this embassy, which was built in 1924-26. And I mean, it's really, I would say, a beautiful embassy, but it is also a testament of the importance that we attach to the relationship with Serbia. And by the way, we celebrated last year the 100 years of the construction of the Embassy of Italy in Belgrade. But from that moment on, we have tried to establish links and relations in all the sectors with Serbia. I remember, if I may quote a great Serbian diplomat, but also Serbian writer, Crnjanski. In 1921, Crnjanski made a trip to Italy. He went to Tuscany, which is actually the region from which I come from. And in his diary, which is called Ljubov u Tuscany, he wrote that he went to Tuscany, he went to Italy to establish visible and invisible links between our two people, our two countries, which is actually what we are trying to do as ambassadors when we are abroad. This is what I'm trying to do here in Serbia, to establish visible and invisible links with Serbia in all the different sectors.
Now, in the past, you've written essays about foreign policies and international relations. How has your academic career influenced your engagement in diplomacy?
Well, I like very much to combine the diplomatic activity with a more, let's call it, intellectual engagement, because I believe very much in the importance to give historical perspective also to the diplomatic activities. Today we don't study much of history, and very often we are surprised to see things happening around us, and we believe that they are coming out of the blue, but it is not. There is a history, there is a context, and to know the history and to know the geopolitical context is very important also for a diplomat to really understand what you are doing and to devise the policies that you need.
So they go hand in hand, one without the other.
At least for me, yeah. I believe very much in the combination between the academic dimension and the diplomatic activity.
Absolutely. Now, given your experience working on EU affairs, how do you see Serbia's path to the European Union, and what role can Italy have in supporting Serbia in achieving its goal?
Well, as you know, Italy is really probably the most convinced member state of the European Union of the importance to accelerate the enlargement process to the Western Balkan region and to Serbia in particular. So also in the last years, we have always been at the forefront in Brussels in trying to convince also the others of the importance to move in this direction. Today, we have to acknowledge that there is a new momentum with regard to the enlargement agenda in the Western Balkan region. And it's important not to lose the momentum. It's important also for Serbia to grasp this opportunity, which means to open Cluster 3, which is a technical step, but with a very important political meaning. So what we are trying to do now is to push Serbia to approve the reforms needed in order to move forward with the integration process, which means, for instance, to approve media laws that are supposed to be considered in Parliament in the coming weeks, which means to work in favor of media pluralism, which means to fight against corruption, which means to approve important laws also with regard to the electoral process. This is what the President of the Commission is asking for. This is what Commissioner Kos, but also the President of the European Council, Costa, and Kallas, when they were in Belgrade in the latest weeks, these are the points that they have been stressing very much with Belgrade.
No, Serbia and Italy, they're known for having a very successful partnership economy-wise. There are over 1,200 Italian companies working in Serbia right now. How do you see the future of this relationship evolving?
Well, we have to evolve in the sense that many Italian companies arrived to Serbia after the 2000 years, in the first decade of 2000. And of course, at that time, it was a completely different Serbia. Today, Serbia is no more a low-cost country. If you come here, you have to take into account many different aspects if you want to make an investment. So for us, and for me in particular as ambassador here, my mission is to make our companies understand that here we have a country which is moving from a low-cost country to a country with an industrial and economic environment which is different. So we have now to invest in new sector with a more technological, advanced technological component. So we have to somehow move from the traditional sectors to new sectors in order to remain, I would say, very much in line with the economic development of Serbia.
Are there any projects or initiatives in this regard that maybe you would like to mention?
Well, we have actually organized in the last 2 years 3 business forums. 2 here in Serbia and 1 in Trieste. The latest one was on the 31st of January of this year. And Serbia is the only country with which we have organized 3 business forums in 2 years, which speaks volume, I think, of the importance we attach to our bilateral relationship, but also it is a testament of how much interest there is in the Italian business community for this region and for Serbia in particular. We have also reinforced our institutional presence of what we call Sistema Italia here in Belgrade. So now we have Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, our Bank of Development, which has opened an office in Belgrade. The same SACE and SIMEST, our most important financial institutions. So we have really a very important system, institutional system in Belgrade to facilitate investments, to facilitate the bilateral trade between Italy and Serbia.
Now that you mentioned trade, it is said that the annual trade interchange is exceeding 4.5 billion euros.
Correct.
What sectors do you see as most promising for collaboration?
Well, in this business forum that we have organized, we have been focusing mainly on 3 sectors, which means agricultural and agri-tech in particular, green and energy transition as the second sector, and finally digital and other type of infrastructures. These are the sectors that we see as more promising for the bilateral relationship between Italy and Serbia.
Now, in the years following COVID-19, scientific cooperation has played a crucial role in cooperation not only between Serbia and Italy, but globally. But the best example for Serbia and Italy is, of course, the forums, scientific forums that were held in Belgrade and Trieste. Do you see these efforts shaping the future of bilateral cooperations between Serbia and Italy, and what are new potentials that have arisen from this opportunity?
Yeah, I'm very proud of the scientific cooperation that we have developed between Italy and Serbia. As you rightly mentioned, we have organized 2 scientific forums, and we were able really to gather a big community of Italian and Serbian scientists. And on those occasions, we have developed many projects together. We have signed many agreements, many MOU. In particular, we have signed an agreement on technological innovation between Italy and Serbia. We have established a very fruitful cooperation with all the scientific institutions of Serbia, from the Artificial Intelligence Institute in Novi Sad, the Bioscience Institute, but also the scientific and technological parks of Serbia. I have visited all the parks here. They have established a cooperation, for instance, with the Area Science Park in Trieste, with the Human Technopole in Milan. So we have really tried to establish a regular cooperation between all these different institutions. And let me mention that in the coming months, our objective is to open a center in Nice dedicated to innovation between Italy and Serbia. So this is a process which is not still completed, but I'm pretty confident that we will be able to do it by the end of the year.
So certainly wish you luck on this regard, and hopefully you do actually achieve this. Now, there's one topic that's always mentioned in Serbia and Italy, and it's football. The Serbian and Italian fans share a strong connection. They're Serbian football players. They have played in Italy. Maybe the most recent example for my generation, at least, is Vlahovic. But there were also Italian coaches that were working in Serbia.
Yeah.
What role do you see of sports in diplomacy?
I see a big role. By the way, let me mention that in the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there is a specific unit which is dealing with sport diplomacy. So sport diplomacy is now part of our institution.
But very officially part.
Yes,
yeah.
It's officially part of our institutional approach to foreign policy and to diplomacy. And our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tajani, is very much investing in sport diplomacy because we believe, here in Serbia, it's quite easy, as you mentioned, because we have so many links, not only in soccer, but basket, volleyball, water polo, tennis, I mean, you name it. And there is really a huge potential for bilateral relationship also in these sectors. And actually, in the past, we have organized many events related to sport diplomacy. Let me mention in particular the Partita del Cuore, as we call it, a football match between the Italian nation team of actors and singers against the old glory of the Red Star here. It was an event that we organized in Belgrade, and of course it was organized with the Banca Intesa, with the Novak Djokovic Foundation, and all the money that we have got organizing this event has been used to build a kindergarten in Raška.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so I mean, sport diplomacy on the one side, but also I would say humanitarian activities and cooperations on the other.
One bring the other as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as you mentioned before, you were born in the region of Tuscany, specifically in Florence, if I'm correct. It's a city that's famous for its art, history, and culture in general. Is there one thing from Florence that you would bring to Belgrade?
Well, probably I would say the capacity of Florence to combine and to preserve the beauty of the old city, the beauty of the tradition, with the necessity to modernize the style of life and the city itself. So it is a big challenge for Florence, but it is a big challenge also for Belgrade because we see a lot of new activities in this city. We see a big push to modernize the city, but at the same time you have to preserve your identity, your cultural heritage. So, I mean, in Florence, I think we managed to do it, and I hope this could really be a model also for Belgrade.
Now, when we mention Italy, we also have to mention wine. Serbia also has a big winemaking tradition. What role can Italian wines play on the Serbian market, and what potential do Serbian winemakers and Italian winemakers have to collaborate together in the future?
Well, wine is really a sector where we are making progresses in our cooperation, and it is a sector where Serbia is improving very much. I can confirm that. Actually, we as Italy, we are exporting around 8 million euros of wine every year. We are, together with France, with regard to the European Union, the most important player in this respect. We participate every year to the Wine Vision Fair here in Belgrade, which is really a wonderful event. And every time we bring around 50-60 Italian companies, coming in particular from Verona Fiere and Vinitaly, which is the most famous wine vision in the world. So we had a strong presence in that occasion. And of course, the fair, the wine vision, it is not only the occasion to sell wine, but it is also the occasion to establish cooperation between Italian producer or exporters and Serbian. And it is the occasion also to educate the public to the different kind of wine, to appreciate the different quality also of wine. And this is why we have organized, and we will continue to do it, master classes of tasting of wine, which is an activity that we are going to continue to do also in the future. And then, of course, I think there is a possibility to develop projects together because, you know, in Italy, wine, it is also something very important for tourism. So we have the possibility in many parts of Italy to organize a sort of a place where you come because, of course, you want to enjoy the countryside, for instance, around Florence, but you want also to taste good wine, to eat something good. So to have this kind of activities combined all together and to transform it in a very, I would say, attractive proposal for touristic, for the touristic flow, this is important for Italy, but also for Serbia. And this is a sector where Italy and Serbia can work together.
Absolutely. Now, for the last question, I would like to ask you, what are your favorite places in Belgrade ever since you came here, and what are the aspects of Serbia that are your most favorite?
Well, there are many places that I like here in Belgrade. First of all, what I like of Belgrade, it is that on the one side, it is a European capital. So I really feel at home here. On the other side, it is not only a Western European capital. It is a capital and a city where you find a lot of different East. So you find the East of Russia, the East of China, the East of Turkey, the East of Israel, the East of the Emirates.
Mixture, yeah.
Yeah, this mixture is really fascinating for me. But beyond that, I like, as I said, different places. For instance, if I have to make sport, I go to Ada Ciganlija to play paddle. If I have to make a walk and to relax a little bit, I go to the waterfront and I take a walk on the Sava or on the Danube, or I mean, I can go to Dorčol for a restaurant or for a coffee, or here around the embassy, Savski Venac and Vračar. I like very much this part of the city. So, I mean, it really depends on what I'm doing, but I really enjoy Belgrade and I really enjoy living in Serbia. And I mean, what I like also it is that it's there is plenty of restaurants and cafe, and here the conviviality is very similar to the Italian conviviality. We like to stay together, to drink a coffee or to eat something together. So I really feel at home.
And does our coffee compare to Italian coffee?
Well, yes. You have very good coffee. You have very good cappuccino. So I mean,
we love our coffee.
yes, absolutely.
Your Excellency, thank you once again for joining us today. As for our dear viewers, thank you for your attention. My name is Mijat Kontić, and I'll see you in another episode of The Diplomate.
Magazin Diplomacy and Commerce i Nacionalni park Fruška Gora organizovali su za predstavnike diplomatskog kora u Srbiji turističku rutu obilaska Nacionalnog parka Fruška Gora. Tokom posete diplomate su imale priliku da izbliza dožive lepote planine, degustiraju ukusnu hranu i vina s tog podneblja i otkriju bogato fruškogorsko kulturno nasleđe.
Imam prilike da obiđemo možda najljepši dio Fruške Gore, lovišta, dijelovi gdje evo vidimo i Tito rado dolazio i lovio i gdje su i dan danas možda jedan od najljepših krajeva Srbije se upravo ovdje nalaze. Doručkovali smo sremski doručak, što je isto ovako za ljude koji nisu iz Srbije isto ovako poseban događaj, tako da danas očekujem da ćemo imati baš ovako jedan lijep program u kojem ćemo obići sva bogatstva ovog dijela Srbije, ovog dijela Vojvodine.
Posjeta jednom ovako važnom, velikom i prelepom nacionalnom parku nas diplomate samo motiviše da još više nastavimo da upoznajemo Srbiju. Priroda je fantastična.
Nakon dočeka i doručka u lovištu Vorovo, ambasadori su šetnjom kroz nacionalni park uživali u pogledu na netaknutu prirodu, a potom nastavili organizovani obilazak Titove vile, spomen kuće Sava Šumanović u Šidu, zavičajne arheološke zbirke gradina na Bosutu i vinarije hotela Dve kule u Bačincima. Na kraju posete gosti su obišli i obližnji manastir Privina glava iz 12. veka. Ove godine obilasku su se odazvali predstavnici ambasada Venecuele, Tunisa, Švajcarske, Bosne i Hercegovine, Pakistana, Češke, Libije, Iraka, Ujedinjenih Arapskih Emirata, kao i kancelarije predstavnika generalnog sekretara Ujedinjenih nacija u Srbiji i UNICEF-a. Put Argentinaca ka nezavisnosti započeo je majskom revolucijom 1810. godine, kada su građani Buenos Airesa, inspirisani idejama prosvetiteljstva, francuskom i američkom revolucijom, svrgnuli španskog vicekralja i uspostavili prvu patriotsku vladu. Prava nezavisnost stigla je 1816. a 209 godina kasnije u rezidenciji argentinskog ambasadora u Beogradu obeležen je Dan državnosti te Južnoameričke republike.
Deklaracija o nezavisnosti nije bila samo politički čin, već proglašenje našeg identiteta, dostojanstva i budućnosti. Nije se radilo samo o prekidu veza sa španskom krunom, već o izgradnji slobodne i pravedne zemlje za sve Argentince i sve ljude dobre volje koji žele da žive u našoj zemlji. Tako je i bilo tokom posljednjih decenija 19. i prve polovine 20. veka. Talas migracija iz svih delova sveta, posebno iz Evrope, je bio ogroman. Argentina je tada bila obećana zemlja. Do 1910. godine na 100-godišnjicu majske revolucije 3 od 10 ljudi u Argentini bili su stranci. Kao rezultat migracija Argentina danas ima drugu po veličini jevrejsku zajednicu na američkom kontinentu i značajnu arapsku zajednicu. Te zajednice žive u miru i harmoniji više od jednog veka i potpuno su integrisane u naše društvo.
Prema rečima ambasadora kao i ministra spoljnih poslova Marka Đurića, Srbija i Argentina su prijateljske zemlje koje se međusobno podržavaju u očuvanju teritorijalnog integriteta i suvereniteta, a tradicionalno dobri odnosi i saradnja na različitim poljima nastavit će se i u budućnosti.
Jedna od stvari koja nas povezuje jeste to što smo obe sportske nacije i veoma mi je drago što naše zemlje dobro sarađuju u toj oblasti. Mogu samo da izrazim nadu da se nećemo sresti na narednom svetskom prvenstvu u fudbalu, ali se nadam da će naša trgovinska i privredna saradnja uzeti maha u predstojećem periodu, da će na našim trpezama biti sve više kvalitetnih argentinskih proizvoda, posebno čuvenog i vrhunskog mesa iz ove zemlje.
Argentinska plavo-bela zastava koja se vijori na ulazu u rezidenciju prvi put je podignuta 1812. a nacionalna himna je nastala godinu dana kasnije. Obeležavanje državnosti je podsjećanje na obavezu da su odbrana demokratije, promovisanje jedinstva i vredan rad najbolji načini da buduće generacije nasleđuju jaču i pravedniju zemlju, navedeno je na događaju. Kolege, saradnici i prijatelji Stanislasa Pjerea, koji će do septembra biti na pozicijama savjetnika za saradnju i kulturu ambasade Francuske i direktora Francuskog instituta u Srbiji, okupili su se u MTS dvorani kako bi u njegovu čast obeležili završetak plodonosnog mandata. Veče je započelo projekcijom filma Izgubljeni u Minhenu, u kojem jednu od uloga tumači Pjere, a nastavljeno izložbom njegovih crteža i akvarela nastalih tokom diplomatskih misija širom sveta. Deo događaja posvećen je i promociji Pjereove nove knjige Kroz Srbiju, talasima i obalama.
Snimanje filma je za mene bilo nezaboravno. Neki su mi čak savjetovali da napustim diplomatiju i postanem glumac. Ovaj film govori o Minhenskom sporazumu, ali i o ljubavi prema papagaju. Istorijska komedija koja slavi slobodu, film, umetnost i sve ono što Francusku čini posebnom. Iz Srbije odlazim samo formalno, jer ona za mene ostaje trajno važna kao dom i kao prijatelj.
Ganut atmosferom na događaju, Pjere je posebnu zahvalnost uputio svom timu iz Francuskog instituta i ambasadoru Francuske u Srbiji Pjeru Košaru, opisujući ga kao velikog zaljubljenika umetnost koji je redovno prisustvovao događajima u Francuskom institutu.